Hi, I'm Danielle Bussone, author of Time for Change, Whole Foods for Whole Health. Today I'm in beautiful downtown Abingdon, Virginia, and I'm with Dane Ratliff, owner of Lemon Sue's, Abingdon's premier Whole Foods market.
Well, thank you, Danielle. It's such a wonderful thing to have you here and this great audience to see you demonstrate your cooking skills and teach us how to make some Indian food.
Okay, this actually isn't Indian food. This is my own creation.
Oh.
It actually is more like Thai food, but it is seasoned with Indian spices. So I call this coconut curry with Indian spices. So I'll get started, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll be serving this over couscous. And so I have preheated this a little bit. This is vegetable stock. And I prefer to use vegetable stock rather than water to make couscous because it just gives it more flavor, it gives it more nutrition, and it's more delicious. We have Lemon Sue's carries this product, which is a veggie broth, which is a more intense flavor. But since I've made my own stock, we'll go ahead and use that. Thank you. So we just need to let this boil for a few minutes. This is 2 1/4 cups of homemade vegetable stock. Do you guys know how to make vegetable stock?
Yes,
Well,
but I never did.
it's so simple. There are two ways depending on how intense you want your flavor. If you want, vegetable stock is not similar to making animal stock, beef broth or chicken broth, because it goes very quickly. And what you do is you can make a very simple one like this. I call this a mirepoix stock. It has celery, onion, and carrots. But I also was cooking collards yesterday, so I took the stems and threw the collard stems in there as well, because there's no reason to waste these good ingredients, this good nutrition. If you want a very intense stock, only use as much water as you need to cover the vegetables, and just cook it until the vegetables are soft, and then strain it and you're done. If you overcook vegetables, it very quickly starts tasting like old food. So it's very important to just cook it enough for the vegetables to release their nutrition and their flavor, and then strain it and you're done. And then you can, without guilt, throw away all the leftovers because they've done their job. There's nothing left there to use, so just put it in your compost and be happy with it. So this is almost ready. Couscous is one of the simplest things in the world to make. I use it, this is 100% whole wheat French couscous, and I use this, but especially for cooking demonstrations because it's very quick. But it's also very delicious with this dish. You can also use brown rice. It's very good with brown rice. It's very good with red rice. Have you ever tried red rice? Oh, it's magnificent and it's beautiful. It's more red rice is more nutritious than brown rice because it's loaded with antioxidants. The more colorful a vegetable is, the more nutritious it is. Black rice is even more nutritious than red rice, and they're all absolutely delicious. Okay, this is boiling, so I can turn this off. So this is 2 1/4 cups of vegetable stock. And this is 1.5 cups of French couscous. Some people think, and I thought it for a long time, I lived in France for 4 years, and the whole time I was there, I believed that couscous was a grain. And it actually isn't, it's a pasta. So all you have to do is stir it, put the lid back on it, and leave it alone. And in 5 minutes, can somebody please tell me when 5 minutes is up? Because I neglected to bring my timer. So in 5 minutes, we'll fluff it with a fork and it's done.
I've got a timer.
Okay, good. Thank you. So now we're going to start preparing our coconut curry. The first thing that we'll do is I have a large onion. This is a 12-ounce onion, approximately 2 cups. And you'll discover that I do not use oil in cooking. It is absolutely unnecessary to add oil when sauteing vegetables. So while we're doing that, I may as well throw in these herbs. I have these large bay leaves. I love these bay leaves. I get them from an Indian grocer, but I believe that this gentleman here can get them for you if he really tried hard. You have them.
Not that big.
Yeah. And I have a cinnamon stick. Okay. And I also use cardamom. You see these cardamom pods? I use 6 of those. And I just want to show you the difference because I have let my cardamom get old. And this is beautiful. This is from Lemon Sue's. This is beautiful, fresh, organic cardamom. And you can see the difference in how woody mine has become and how beautiful these are. So I'm going with Lemon Sue's cardamom.
No, thank you. 5 minutes is up.
Okay, thank you. So 5 minutes is up. You'll start smelling this very soon. And so the couscous is ready. We just fluff it and it's done. And so anytime that you have a dish to make and you've come home and you've got everything ready and realized, oh my goodness, I've forgotten to make the rice, this is your savior. Because you can use it in almost every application that you can use rice.
So you have no liquid with the onion?
I'm sorry?
You have no liquid with the onion?
No.
Water?
I do have some excess stock, and if this starts drying out, I'll certainly use some of this. And you can use water. And as soon as this cooks down a little bit, as a matter of fact, it's reaching a point where I'll use a little now. And you don't need much. And I'm going to go ahead and add some ginger. This is a tablespoon of ginger. I love the smell of this dish. And this is garlic. Now I have some interesting things to tell you about garlic. Garlic is one of those super health foods. There is just about nothing that garlic doesn't improve. And as far as so when you're cooking, the first thing you should do is crush your garlic. And by the time you need it, it will be ready. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit and let this. We need this onion relatively soft. Do you have any questions? Okay, I'll move that steamer away from
So
me.
you don't chop the garlic, you crush it and let it.
I crush it and
then
mince it.
put it in whole.
No, I crush it and I mince it.
Mince it.
I mince it.
After it's set for a while.
No, I go ahead and crush it and mix it up. And you can also take the side of your blade and squash it some more, and that just to make sure. But you just need to crush it, just like those little heating pads you get in the winter that you have to crush it all together before it starts getting warm. That's how that process works. So this is. I just fogged up my glasses.
And what is that cookware?
Oh, this is copper cookware. I bought it at TJ Maxx, and I just bought it one piece at a time whenever I saw it available, and I really like it. What I like about it is it keeps it at a constant temperature. I am going to add the coconut milk now.
Once the vegetables have sauteed down.
Right, you might want to get a picture of this. This is, and let me show these ladies. Can you see these are relatively, can you smell it?
Yes.
Oh, good. And so we'll add the coconut milk now. You are a very forgiving group.
Well, you're going to feed us later, right? So,
That's right.
got something to look forward to. I brought some bowls.
Okay, so we'll add the coconut milk.
Now that's full fat, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, this is a decadent dish. It's a very good dish for transitioning. And I'm going to add the chickpeas. This is about 2 cups of chickpeas. You can also use a can of canned chickpeas. This is enough. 1 can will do it. Drain it before you use it. I made these, I cooked these myself. I just prefer to do it that way. And so I put a few more in. You know about cooking beans that you should you should boil it for 10 minutes before you lower the temperature and put the lid on, because that it helps get rid of natural toxins in the bean that are thought to be natural pesticides. So I'm adding the tomatoes now because I want the tomatoes to be quite wilted, so they'll be easy to eat. Up this and that. I think I can put my glasses on now so I can see. I thought I was turning it up and I was turning it down. You'll see me often do this to my pot. Don't do that. It's a very bad habit. I've never broken myself up. If you use metal on metal, you'll dent your pot. It's a terrible habit, and it also forces things down to the bottom of the pot, so you tend to burn a little. So my husband's grandmother taught me that when she was 100 years old. She died at 102, and at 100 years old, she taught me how to make stuffed squid sauce, which I would never eat now. And she taught me how to do roasted red peppers. And she confessed to me I'd give anything to be 90 again. At 90, she broke her hip, and so it slowed her down. And so, but she lived to be 102, and she was a lovely person. And she liked me because I liked to cook. And also because I was marrying her favorite grandson. Okay, so we're just waiting for this to come up to temperature.
Now it looks like you're going to put the spices in near the end. Is there a reason for that?
No, the only reason was that I forgot. But thank you. Okay. I knew there was something here. Well, we can cut that too.
That was a very big way to remind you.
I wasn't sure, because usually with Indian food you have it in the beginning.
Well, you can. It's fine with this because it's, for one thing, it isn't Indian food, and it's doing the sauce. We are going to. I have to find a way to redo this for the table.
Yeah.
But we're using a tablespoon of garam masala. You can put this in at any time. This is fine if you put it in when you're sauteing. It's a later stage of sauteing your vegetables so that it doesn't burn, but it's fine to put it in now. And we're using half a teaspoon of salt. This is optional. When I cook for other people, I tend to use a little bit of salt, but when I cook for myself, I don't. It's something you can get used to. If you gradually reduce the use of salt, you get used to it very quickly. And I like using this Himalayan salt because it has minerals in it, and it doesn't have any fillers. So I put in garam masala, and we will put in the Intrepid turmeric. Now this is another important spice, and it is second place to garlic in my mind. So what's important to know when you're using turmeric that you have to use a little black pepper, and it doesn't take much. An eighth of a teaspoon is enough, but what it does is it increases the bioavailability of turmeric to 2,000%. Okay, this is starting to get hot now, thank goodness. Now, can you smell the spices?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to cover this for a few minutes, and we'll just let the tomatoes cook down a little bit. I'm going to turn this down a little. And the very last thing that we will do is add the spinach. Spinach cooks very quickly, and you only want to wilt it. You don't want to overcook it. And spinach tends to get a little bit slimy if you overcook it. And if you make more of this than you can eat in one day, take it off the stove as soon as you put the spinach in, and move it to a cool place so it'll cool down quickly, and it reheats beautifully. But you don't want to overcook the spinach. So this cooking demonstration is definitely a community activity.
A lot of people say you shouldn't eat raw spinach because it's very high in oxalic acid, so you want to cook it a little bit to break down the oxalic acid. How do you feel about that?
I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not something I have any information on at all.
Do you eat raw spinach?
I do.
Yeah.
I do a little bit, but not very often, really.
Yeah.
I tend to cook my vegetables because most of the studies show that the nutrients are more bioavailable when you cook them than when you don't. And the only one that I know definitely that you should not cook, although I cook it all the time because I have other ingredients that are very high in nutrients and the flavors are fantastic, is red peppers. Roasted red peppers are so flavorful, and I'm always packing everything with other stuff too, that I don't feel like that world is going to come to an end if I use a few roasted red peppers. Now, one of the things I want to caution you about when you're serving this dish is that these cardamom pods are not edible. You don't want to eat them. However, they're so similar when you're serving it to the chickpeas that you really have, most of the time you can pick them out, but you cannot pick them out of this dish. And so I think this is wilted enough and we can go ahead and add the spinach. So you want to warn your guests that they are not to eat that. It won't hurt them, but it will give them a huge, powerful kick of cardamom, and it has a very woody texture, so it's not a pleasant experience. I learned Indian cooking from Indian chefs. I've never been to India like you have, and I just emulate what they do, and I take their recipes and I make them healthy. And I do that by removing the oil and taking and cutting down the salt. But one of the things I've discovered is that it's really much healthier to eat at home. But when you're out and you have to eat and you want to eat good food, so we go around and we find these restaurants that have reliably vegan dishes. And Indian restaurants are wonderful for that. Ethiopian restaurants are wonderful. And Thai as well. So you can control these things at home. Okay, this is ready. That's all that spinach takes. I put in the juice of 1/2 a lemon. And you can omit it. I have proven that you can omit it and it's fine. I do it almost every time. But it does give it a nice little layer of flavor.
Yes, exactly.
That looks nice.